going on? Brian Tong here, and we all know it's still real early before the iPhone 13 comes out this fall, but we have heard so many things about it, and we have new camera details now, so it's just all really coming together. And yeah, even if it's early, everyone still wants to know about it, so this is everything that we know and the most comprehensive information in one place about the iPhone 13 so far. Now, some of this stuff you might have heard, but there's also a lot of new info here as well. And yes, none of this is official until Apple tells it to us, but the rumors and credible leakers have been pretty accurate over the years. Now, we know the iPhone 12 was the new big redesign in 2020, so don't expect much to change with the design this year. The 2021 iPhone lineup is expected to come in the same 4 screen sizes as last year, with a 5.4-inch mini, 2 6.1-inch iPhones, and then the larger one being 6.7 inches. One of the 6.1-inch models and then the 6.7-inch model will be Pro models again. So that 4-model lineup will remain exactly the same size-wise. Reports from sources inside Apple have already said it's going to be more like a 12S type of phone, but there's no official name yet. Most of us are calling it the iPhone 13, so that's what we're going to call it, but that's not good luck, so it's one of those unknowns that doesn't really matter. Now, here's what could be different. Apple leaker Ming-Chi Kuo reported back in 2019 that Apple would release a high-end iPhone in 2021 that had no ports at all. Now, the biggest design change we could see in 2021 is Apple offering a high-end model iPhone that's completely portless for the first time ever. We know Johnny Ive still has his DNA all over Apple products, and back in 2016, the Wall Street Journal reported that he expressed his desire for the iPhone to appear like a single sheet of glass. Now, with the introduction of MagSafe on the iPhone 12 family, that finally creates a pathway to charge an iPhone without using any ports at all, and Johnny's dream could finally be realized with him no longer at the company. Now, this portless iPhone would most likely use MagSafe and Qi charging, and we're all hoping it charges at a faster rate this time, but we don't know that yet. Another rumor has thrown out the idea that Apple could adopt a smart connector similar to what's found on the iPad Pro. It could possibly be used for the 2021 iPhone that would still allow for charging, data transfer, and syncing without a Lightning port. Now, this new portless iPhone, if it happens, is rumored to only be for one model and not across the entire line. But what could removing the port make space for? Maybe it makes space internally for a new component or larger battery. It's also an open port that could allow the iPhone to be even more waterproof, because the iPhone 12, it currently has an IP68 rating that allows it to officially last for 30 minutes under 6 meters of water, which is close to 20 feet. We've already seen iPhones survive for much longer than that underwater, but I don't think having improved underwater photography at greater depths than that is going to be a major selling point that most people care about at all, most people. And the one thing that I've wanted them to bring back is Touch ID. Bloomberg's Mark Gurman recently reported Apple has been testing an in-screen Touch ID fingerprint reader that would be another major change that you physically won't be able to see. And who could they go to for this component? Well, Qualcomm would arguably be the best supplier, because the recent Samsung Galaxy S21 lineup uses Qualcomm's latest second-generation ultrasonic in-display fingerprint sensor. It has a larger detection area, captures more biometric data, and is 50% faster than last year's sensor, and identifies fingerprints even when they're wet. Now, I've used it extensively, and it's the most responsive in-screen sensor that I've used on any phone to date. I mean, it's really impressive, and it would be just like a perfect fit for this in-display Touch ID if Apple goes that route, and if they can pair their security to it as well. It also makes sense since a lot of us are wearing masks these days as well, and you know, I've missed Touch ID because of how reliable and fast it was for me. If there was one feature that I'd love this iPhone 13 to have, it's this, and it's even more important than a portless iPhone to me. Other design changes that are more subtle? Well, multiple reports, including the latest from Digitimes, say the iPhone 13 will feature a redesigned Face ID system that will make the notch at the top smaller in size. And yes, we've heard this rumor even for the iPhone 12, so believe it or not, we're still getting a notch in 2021. And you know, it comes in handy at times, but it's still an eyesore for me. I mean, you all know how deeply I've felt about it for years, so I'll stop complaining. But this year could see both Face ID and Touch ID together on an iPhone. The new design will integrate some of the true depth camera components together, similar to the LiDAR scanner in the back of the camera on iPhones right now, to enable smaller notch sizes, according to the report. Now, that LiDAR scanner will reportedly be expanded to all of the iPhone 13 lineup camera systems in 2021 as well. And then since we're talking about cameras, we know our phones are our cameras, and recent leaks reveal some of the improvements that we can expect. The new iPhone 13 will continue using Apple's 7P lens that increases light transmittance and then improves image quality. That was used in the iPhone 12 family, but DigiTimes reports iPhone 13 Pro models will have a larger CMOS image sensor that will bring resolution improvements, while the iPhone 13 non-Pro models will have the same sensor from the 12 and the 12 Pro models. Now, there had been rumors that the last year's iPhone 12 would bring a 48 or 64 megapixel camera, but that never happened, so maybe we finally see it in the iPhone 13. Now, last year's iPhone 12 Pro Max was also the only one to have the new sensor shift image stabilization feature, and it made a difference in some of my tests, but it just really wasn't enough for me to really miss it when I had a regular 12 Pro. DigiTimes reports this year's entire iPhone 13 lineup will have the sensor shift capability for their wide lens. It's a feature Apple touted as only being available on DSLR cameras, and it was a first for an iPhone on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. And that's just a welcome improvement for the iPhone 13 camera family. Plus, the ultra-wide lens will reportedly get an upgrade from a 5P lens to a 6P lens. That's bringing better image quality by absorbing more light and capturing better pictures for the ultra-wide camera this year. Now, the biggest thing that I'm concerned with this iPhone 13, and it's not that it's bad, because obviously this camera is one of the best things about this phone, but just how far it's trailing behind Samsung when it comes to a 10x optical zoom and features like macro focus in the Galaxy S21 Ultra. I mean, that phone is an absolutely impressive beast of a camera system with just so much versatility, and then with its current design, the iPhone 13 lineup might have, what, maybe a 2.5 or 3 times optical zoom at best. That's just really weak, and I know there are plenty of users who don't even care, quite honestly. Like, a majority of users are just going to make their next upgrade to an iPhone no matter what. But these are just huge camera innovations the iPhone doesn't have, and we don't see anything even close to a 10x optical zoom coming to the iPhone anytime soon. It's kind of a bummer. Now, two things we absolutely see coming: an all-new A15 chip for the iPhone 13 lineup that will use a 5nm plus process and is expected to bring even better performance in case the iPhone wasn't fast enough for you. And I'd still love to see more applications just take advantage of this power. But you know what might make the iPhone feel even faster and smoother? Well, the long-rumored 120 Hertz refresh rate is expected to finally come to the iPhone, but it might not be available for all models. Now, Apple's expecting to bring OLED displays with low-power LTPO backplane technology that allows them to take advantage of the 120 Hertz refresh rate. The display tech turns individual pixels on and off and allows for better battery life as well. So it appears that only the 2 Pro models are expected to get the ProMotion display tech in the iPhone 13 lineup. And I love having it on my iPad Pro. To me, it wasn't a big deal that it was missing on the iPhone 12 Pro because the iPhone just runs really smooth already. I mean, I completely welcome 120 Hertz because it's going to bring a smoother experience that will be noticeable for some and then completely non-existent to others who aren't even looking for it. Now, I think that it's a nice to have, and more than anything, it just checks off a box that other competitors have had for years. Plus, the iPhone is still expected to bring 5G using Qualcomm's latest Snapdragon X60 3rd Gen 5G modem. Apple might also manufacture 2021 iPhones with a single 5G band that works on either millimeter wave or sub-6 GHz networks, but not both, to save money in countries where millimeter wave 5G isn't set up yet. Now, millimeter wave 5G wasn't an option for international versions of the iPhone 12. And finally, we're also expecting Wi-Fi 6E for the first time in the new iPhones that allows them to take advantage of the 6 GHz band capabilities and increased bandwidth. So that is everything we know about the upcoming iPhone 13 lineup so far. Expect pretty much the same design with the same screen sizes for a 4-phone lineup like 2020. The potential for a completely portless Pro model, maybe a smaller notch, and possibly in-display Touch ID. Improvements to the camera system with a LiDAR scanner on all models, and then the sensor image stabilization feature across the board. 120 Hertz refresh rates finally coming to the iPhone 13 Pro models, and then the latest A15 processor, 5G, and Wi-Fi 6E connectivity. And these are all nice incremental improvements, but this does absolutely feel more like a 12S year, and that's normal with Apple's upgrade cycle these days. So I'd love to know what stands out for you out of all these features. Like, what phone are you using right now, and is this an upgrade year for you or not? I mean, are you excited about this year's phone, or are you gonna wait for next year's model? Let me know in the comments, because I will read like 99.9% of them, except for the guy who keeps saying that I wear lipstick, but I don't, but he still likes paying attention to my lips. But that's everything we know right now about the iPhone 13 lineup. Thanks to Anker for sponsoring this video. You've got to check out the Anker Nano. It's a fast charger that charges 3 times faster than the iPhone's original 5-watt charger. Get up to 53% battery juice in just 30 minutes. It's super compact and portable, measuring in at just over 1 inch on each side and weighing about the same as a AA battery. A fast charger this size is exactly what I need when I'm on the go, and it can charge all of your devices with this single ultra portable charger, and there's really no reason to get a slower one, so check out the Anker Nano in the link below. Alright, that's going to do it for this video. If you like what you see, give me that thumbs up, subs up, and hit that notification bell, ding, to get all my videos when they drop. And if you want more, you can check out my Apple Bits XL audio podcast to get the latest deep dive with all these stories and new ones every week with special guests. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. iPhone 13, is it really worth upgrading for you? Let me know, alright? I'll see you next time. Take care and be safe. Peace and love.